I've had quite a few people ask me about the Annette bag that I made with the pattern alterations to include a recess zipper. So I thought I'd make a little video today and share the 3 bags that I've made using that method, try to sort of explain how I altered the pattern and do a little bit of a pattern review. So stay tuned. Hi, welcome back to my channel, the Bag Maker Society. My name's Deb and I make videos on all things bag making. And I also run a bag making supply business here in the UK called Me Made Makes. And today's video is all about the Annette handbag by Swoon Patterns. So I made this bag very early on in my bag making journey. It wasn't great. That was purely because I didn't really know much about interfacing and stabilizers back then, and I just kind of used what I had to hand, and yeah, it didn't turn out well, but I did absolutely love that bag. I then went on to make quite a few others, sort of experimenting with vinyl and what have you. I don't think I've got any sort of pattern, any pictures or anything that I can share. If I do, I will insert them, but if I can't find them, then I do apologise. But yeah, I did make quite a few, and then haven't gone back to the pattern for quite some time. So I was looking for a bag to make, and I thought about making the Annette. But one of the things that I really struggled with was getting the zip to lay right along the top edge of the bag, and I wanted to change it so that it had a recessed zipper in it. And I'd seen Sian from Kittenish Behavior had done something similar, so took my inspiration from there and basically set about changing the pattern up like I do. And this is the first one that I made. So it's a little bit of a posh lunch bag. That's what it was made for. So it's made using foam as the stabilizer, and it was sort of like my first attempt at adding the recess zipper. So it isn't perfect, but I still really love the bag, how it turned out, and like I say, I do actually use it as a really posh lunch bag. So this is the one that I made. So this is like a wool blend with some faux leather, I think both of which are from Emmanuel's. All the hardware and everything is obviously from my website, including the interfaces and such. So this is the recessed zipper inside the Annette bag, and I've kept the recessed zipper, like the placket, quite narrow because I still wanted that sort of pinched in look at the top. I didn't want this to be a very open bag. I wanted still a kind of pinched in effect at the top, which is what the zip in the top gives you. So I kept the zipper placket quite narrow, and yeah, so I pretty much followed the rest of the bag to the T. I have the strap connector as it is in the pattern. Obviously these side pockets are great for water bottles and coffee cups, which is why I've kind of made this one as a posh lunch bag. Inside it's just got your usual zipper and slip pocket, so I can add snacks. And yeah, so I was really pleased with how this one came out. And basically the alterations that I made to work out the zipper changes were, I took the lining pieces and I measured down by 2 inches. I then cut along the lining and added a seam allowance, and I did exactly the same on the side pocket. I'm going to show you on one of the other bags because it's a bit clearer to see because of the colour of the bag. But what it did on the side pocket is obviously you have this sort of V effect, and it gave me a V shape part to the top pocket and then to the bottom, sorry, not pocket, side. And then, like I say, I just did the same. I added on a seam allowance. Now I made the changes to the side piece as well, because I wanted to have that accent along the top. You can add the recess zipper without changing the side pieces, so you can leave the side pieces as they are and just make the changes to this piece here. So basically what I did is I printed out another copy as my lining and made those alterations. So in order to work out the size of the zipper placket to cut, basically all I did was, when these pieces were separated and with the seam allowance on, I took the measurement from the top of this piece before the seam allowance was added on, so basically where I'd marked the line. I measured that along, and it was that length plus the width was 1.75, I think I did. So I made it exactly this width because it meant by the time I turned the edges over by the 1/2 inch, it then wasn't in within my seam allowances. So my zipper placket sits right against this side seam here. It fits absolutely perfectly. So because the seam is 1/2 inch, I just turned it over by 1/2 inch and it meant it fit exactly. I did sew this seam in the lining with the zipper foot so I could get nice and close to the edge, and it basically meant that this zipper placket sits absolutely perfectly against the edge of that seam. It's all really, really neat, and you will see a little bit better in one of the other bags that I've got to show you. So this was the first one that I made. I then decided that I wanted the bigger version, so I did change it up quite a bit. I didn't put the smile connector on. I did hidden connectors, and I think if I was doing it again I would move them down ever so slightly because they're so close to the top. I do feel like they sort of crease and don't sit exactly how I'd like them to sit, but I mean I still do love it, and I use it all the time. It is massive. So this is the commuter tote size. I made exactly the same changes. So I intersected the top by 2 inches, added on a seam allowance, and I took that measurement to work out how big my zipper placket needed to be cut at, and the width was 1.75 still. So this, as you can see, is quite a narrow zipper placket. Hopefully you might be able to see on the inside of this one where that V shape then comes. So like I say, you don't have to make the changes to the side pocket if you don't want to. I just wanted to have the accent the same as what it was on the top because I'm a little bit OCD like that. But yeah, but this is absolutely huge. I use this if I need to go anywhere with my laptop or notebooks, that sort of thing. Everything fits in here. And obviously I've got the crossbody strap. This was made using the lavender and twine triad pack, the colour pop strap. The handles are made using the colour pop strap as well. And exactly the same, I have, let's open it up a little bit more. I have a zipper pocket in there, and then I left this pocket really big because what it actually means is I can actually fit my notebook, like my Chromebook, inside that pocket. It's big enough, and it means it keeps it nice and secure. So that was the next one that I used. It's a little bit squished because I've had it stored away in a cupboard because I haven't used it recently. But yeah, again, this is the same vinyl as what was used in the other bag, so that came from Emmanuel's. I have a lot of this vinyl because I absolutely love it. It is a little bit on the heavier side, so because I've got the industrial I can sew through it, but it is a little bit more of a structured vinyl than a nice soft supple vinyl. And then the last one that I made is this one, and this is the one that I had in my head the whole time that I was making these alterations I knew this was the bag that I wanted to make. I had this vinyl. Again, I think it came from Emmanuel's. It's a little bit softer. It's so beautiful to work with. It's this beautiful sort of beige colour, and I knew exactly the colour I wanted to make it. And I wanted these strap connectors on there. I think it's very Michael Kors-esque in how it looks, in that shape. And this was why I wanted to make the alterations to the pattern, so that I could make the bag that I had in my head. So this obviously again has the recessed zipper in it, and it was exactly the same alterations that I made. Measured down by 2 inches, intersected the lining piece. That measurement was then my zipper placket by 1.75 width, and by the time those sides were turned in by the 1/2 inch to make the zipper placket, it fits this seam perfectly. So hopefully you can kind of see that a little bit better in this colour. So because the seam is 1/2 inch, and because I was turning in by 1/2 inch, it meant that the zipper placket, once it was turned in, met those side seams absolutely beautifully. But I did have to stitch it with a zipper foot so that I could get nice and close to the zipper placket for my 1/2 inch seam. Hopefully that all makes sense. So this was made using a water resistant canvas. On the inside I have my zipper pocket and my lining pocket as well, and I've also got a crossbody strap that goes with this bag. So the handles are made like a 2-tone handle, and yeah, like I say, this is just probably one of my favorite bags that I've ever made. I'm so proud of it. I was so pleased with how it came out. I do love this pattern. I love the shape of it. I love the pockets on the side. Like I say, I do think it's quite Michael Kors-esque. And other than changing the lining so that I could put this zipper placket in, I didn't make any other changes to the pattern other than I use an accent piece for my zipper rather than turning through the hole once it's stitched. It's just a preference of mine. So I hope if anybody's been thinking about making the Annette and wants to maybe make changes to the top, that I've shown that it's really quite easy to do. It's just, as I say, working out the depth that you want this top accent to be, intersecting the pattern piece and adding on a seam allowance. It was really straightforward to do, and if I can do the math, anybody can do the math. So if you've made an Annette, please do share what you've made in the Facebook group, or drop me a comment to let me know if you've made it, how you found it. And I hope you've enjoyed my little walkthrough of the 3 Annette bags that I've made and the changes that I made for them. If you've liked this video, please do give it a thumbs up. The YouTube algorithm will love you for it, and more importantly, so will I. And please do consider subscribing to the channel for more videos like this. Until next time, see you soon. Bye.